Kovu is the adopted son of Zira, who is trained to kill Simba and take the throne for Scar's legacy. But in the movie, we watched him choose love over hatred. Zira couldn't accept this betrayal of everything she believed in and ultimately died trying to destroy the piece of Pride Lands. But what would happen if Kovu actually killed Simba? Would Kiara still stand by his side? And most importantly, would there have been anyone left to stop them? In The Lion King 2, we meet Kiara. One day, she wanders into the Outlands and meets a young cub named Kovu. We all see that Kovu isn't just any lion cub, but was raised by Zira, a lioness who was loyal to Scar. After Scar died, Simba kicked Zira out of the Pride Lands. Outside there, she spent years training Kovu to kill Simba and take back the throne. So she filled his mind with hate and told him that Simba was evil. But Kovu chose a different path. He fell in love with Kiara. One day, fire was spreading quickly across the Pride Lands. Simba knew his daughter was in danger, so he sprinted off to find her. When he reached the water, he saw Kiara standing next to a strange lion, Kovu. At first, Simba didn't trust him, but Kiara spoke up. "Father, he saved me from the fire!" Her eyes were full of thanks, and she believed Kovu was a hero. Simba looked into Kovu's eyes. He was still worried, but Kiara seemed sure. So Simba agreed to let Kovu stay in the Pride Lands. Kovu spent more time with Kiara. They hunted together and looked at the stars. Every day, Kiara fell deeper in love with him. But what if love wasn't enough? What if Kovu chose his mother over his heart? This is where the whole story changes. Kovu's every smile and love for Kiara were fake. He was actually following Zira's plan to get close to Simba, to finish what his father, Scar, had started. The moment finally came when Simba asked Kovu to go for a walk. "Let's talk," Simba said. He wanted to learn more about this young lion his daughter cared about. As they walked, Simba talked about the past, about Scar, about forgiveness. But Kovu wasn't listening to learn. He was listening for the signal from his mother. Then this happened. Growls came from the bushes. Zira and her lionesses jumped out and surrounded them. At first, Kovu, without knowing what to do, looked at Simba, then at Zira. "Do it now, Kovu!" Zira shouted. The words of his mother were demanding that he follow her order. Kovu attacked Simba. Simba fought hard, but he was outnumbered. Kovu stood over Simba's body, and Zira laughed with evil joy because her dream had come true. Then Kiara arrived. She was too late to save her father. She looked at Kovu with tears in her eyes, wondering how he could. Kovu looked at her with cold eyes because this was who he really was. Kovu had taken his first step towards becoming king of the Pride Lands. With Simba's death, Kovu wasted no time and marched into Pride Rock with Zira and her lionesses. The Pride was scared and confused. How could this have happened? Zira then shouted, "Simba is gone, and Kovu is your new king now to follow. This is what Scar wanted." But the Pride didn't cheer. Nala stood close to Kiara, her eyes full of pain. She had just lost her mate. Kiara stepped forward. Her voice trembled with anger. "This isn't right," she said. "My father wanted peace, not more fighting." Zira's eyes turned cold. She looked at Kiara and said, "Your father is no more. Things are different now." Then Kovu spoke up. His voice was harsh and mean. "Kiara, you're not welcome here anymore." Everyone froze. Even some of Zira's lionesses looked shocked. Kiara couldn't believe what she was hearing. "You heard me," Kovu said. "You're banished from the Pride Lands. Forever." Kiara looked at her mother, hoping Nala would help her, but Nala was too scared to speak up. Kiara realized the horrible truth that Kovu wasn't just taking the throne, he was getting rid of anyone who might challenge him. And as Simba's daughter, she was the biggest threat. With tears in her eyes, Kiara looked at her mother one last time. Then she walked away from the only home she had ever known. As she reached the edge of the Pride Lands, Kiara, with pain in her eyes, looked back at Pride Rock. Her love had betrayed her, and her home was taken in one terrible day. But Kiara didn't know that leaving Pride Rock would actually save her life. Because out in the wildlands, someone was waiting. Someone everyone thought was dead. Wandering through the empty lands, Kiara could not forget her father, her home, and most of all, Kovu's cruel words. She had no food, no water, no hope, so day by day, she got weaker and weaker. One day, while walking through the empty land, Kiara spotted a strange lion drinking from a small water hole. Her heart raced. Maybe she had finally found someone who could help. As Kiara got closer, the lion felt strangely familiar. Big, strong, and with a reddish-brown mane. When he turned, her heart stopped. Now, you are thinking about who this lion is? Well, he was her brother Kopa, whom everyone said was dead. Now, he is more powerful and more skilled. For a moment, they both just stared at each other. Then Kiara ran as fast as possible and hugged him. They were crying happy tears. Kiara could not believe it was really him. Kopa noticed how thin and hurt his sister looked. "Kiara, what happened to you? Why are you alone here?" Kopa asked. Kiara told him that Kovu killed their father, Simba, and exiled her from her homeland. Now he rules Pride Rock with Zira. Kopa's face filled with anger. He promised Kiara to take back what is theirs. For the first time since her father died, Kiara felt hope. While the lost prince was growing stronger in exile, things back at Pride Rock were getting much worse. Kovu's rule was turning into a nightmare that no one could have imagined. The Pride lands were dying. Most animals had left, and those who stayed were in fear. Kovu pushed the lionesses harder every day to hunt for both his pride and Zira's outcasts. Nala watched her home fall apart. Every night she looked at the stars, missing Simba, and wondered if he could see what was happening. She told others that Simba never treated them like this. Here, Zira loved to see the Pride lands under her control. She walked around Pride Rock like a queen, giving orders to everyone. She is proud of Kovu for finishing what Scar started, but even she noticed the herds disappearing and the streams drying. She wondered if they destroyed everything, there wouldn't be anything left to rule. For the first time, Kovu got angry at his mother and snapped, "Don't tell me how to be king. I killed Simba like you wanted. Now let me rule my own way." Meanwhile, Nala, with some of the lionesses, started meeting in secret. Nala told them the Pride lands are falling apart. If they did not do anything, they all would die. Nala reminded them that Simba and Kiara were all gone, and now they were on their own. But none of them knew that hope was coming. Kopa and Kiara planned their attack. As the kingdom was under Kovu's cruel rule, it was too risky for them to attack. That's why Kopa thought the lionesses would join them if they knew he was alive. Kiara worried Kovu would find them, but Kopa was confident. He knew the land better than anyone. That night, Kopa stepped toward Pride Rock. By the waterhole, he found Nala sitting alone, lost in thought. He called out softly. She turned in fear, then froze when she saw her son alive. Tears filled her eyes. Kopa told her that he had returned to reclaim the throne. Nala promised him support because she feared Kovu's strength. At sunrise, Kopa and Kiara stood on a hill, looking down at Pride Rock. He stepped forward, shadows stretching behind him, and whispers started among the Pride that Simba's son had returned. Kovu came out, shaken at the sight of him. Kopa challenged Kovu that he was unfit to rule, while Kovu roared that he was king. As it all was getting worse, Zira appeared, full of fury. Kopa stood tall, telling her she had failed to destroy him, and now he was ready to end what she started. The tension was so thick you could feel it in the air. Everyone thought the battle was coming that would decide the fate of the Pride lands. Both lions circled each other slowly. Then Kovu attacked first at Kopa with his claws. Kopa slipped aside and slashed his shoulder. "You're weak, just like Simba." Kovu spat. "My father was brave." Kopa shot back. Kovu fought with fury, but Kopa remained calm. He remembered everything Temba had taught him, the use of the enemy's anger against them, so he waited for the right moment. Finally, Kopa caught him mid-leap and threw him into the rocks. Kovu hit the ground hard and didn't rise. "It's over," Kopa said, standing above him. But the battle wasn't finished yet. Zira screamed and lunged at Kiara. "The pride belongs to Scar's blood." She leapt again, but this time her paws slipped on the wet rocks near the waterfall. Kiara tried to grab her, but Zira pushed her away. "I don't need help from Simba's cub," she snarled before falling into the river below. The water swallowed her, and she was gone. Kopa climbed to the top of Pride Rock. The animals gathered below. "Simba's son has returned," Nala cried. The crowd roared in joy, but Kopa raised his paw for silence. "I'm not your king," he said. He turned to his sister. "This is Kiara's throne. Father chose her." After becoming the queen, Kiara made a choice no one expected. Instead of seeking revenge, she forgave the outsiders who had caused her family so much pain. That act of mercy healed old wounds, and under her leadership, the Pride Lands were reborn. So, what do you think? Did Kopa make the right choice by giving the throne to Kiara, or should he have claimed it as king? And what about Kiara? Was she wise to forgive the lions who destroyed her family, or was it a mistake? Drop your thoughts in the comments.